Hello everybody, I'm Tony Pellegrino, and this is part of a live that we do now every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube, so depending on which platform you like. Hopefully you got the memo that we've moved it from Tuesday and Thursday to now Wednesday once a week. We're here to talk about my favorite subject and yours, Jeeping, building Jeeps, everything you can do on a Jeep. So lots of fun. As always, we welcome your questions and comments, so just type them in. I've got Jeff Perkins himself over here to read questions today. We've also got Jamie, Arnold, and Alex here to help with today's broadcast. Let's see. Last week, if you tuned in, we covered Trail Hero in two parts. We had a lot of pictures and video to show you. It was a great time. And if you missed it, we hope to see you out there next year. Let's see. Today's featured product is our brand new TJ to LJ kit. And we are standing in front of what we've been developing for actually like over a year. We've been working on this. And it's been something I've wanted to do for like 10 years. So that tells you how long it's been on my mind. This converts a TJ to a true LJ. You can run the factory hardtop, soft top, takes an LJ corner guard, LJ rocker guards, and in this case, the very first rendition of this that we've done is actually stretched to a tracer wheelbase, so that's pretty cool. So you can see it's got the tracer rockers on here, the tracer corner guards, and you can see the new frame section. So this is one we've been working on this for a couple of days, installing this, taking pictures as we go, and you can see this comes with an all new aluminum cargo area interior. So it is really nice. It's super clean. I've never seen anything like this from anybody in the industry. This is really, really well thought out, well designed. And on this side, we've got some of the pieces that I want to show you guys, but I do want to start over here with what we took out. So let's start over there. And unless Jeff's got questions already.
We have one question, TJ to LJ kit, ballpark price, please. We knew that question.
We knew that question. So part of what I'm going to ask you viewers today is whether you're willing to take it as a true kit and do all the welding yourself, or if you want us to provide pre-welded pieces. So I'm going to show you both, and then you can make your decision. This is what gets cut out. So you first, you cut the interior down. You leave about 3 inches in the front and 2 inches in the rear, and take this section of the tub, the rear cargo area, out. Then when that's off, it makes it real easy to get in here and cut the frame. By the way, this might shock you, but it took 20 seconds to cut through this with the Sawzall on each side. That's it. Your factory frame is only 1/8 inch thick, and an old one like this happens to be a 97 that you can see has a little bit of rust on it, was thinner than that. And it was full of dirt and stuff that, by the way, sat in there moist and rusted the crap out of the inside. So all those holes you have in your frame, they're picking up dirt and water and all kinds of stuff. So just gives you an idea. So this particular customer had our Legend, complete Legend kit on it, and he wanted to upgrade to this new style, and he's been a good customer and didn't mind being the first one. So we brought it in here and started building this. So more questions yet, or are we doing okay?
Zach Uptill wants to know if the fuel pump access panel comes with the new interior.
It does. So this one, we've got this in here right now. The shape will be a little bit different. It'll be just, without this cutout. And that is part of the rear cargo floor. By the way, this floor is 3/16 thick aluminum, and the inner fenders are 1/8 inch thick aluminum on each side. All stainless steel hardware, And I don't know if you can see it or not, but these are our corner guard backing plates. These are going to go inside here too. We're going to make some new longer ones for this kit. But this uses the same bolts all the way along from the corner guard. So when you've got our corner guards on here, the spacing is all matched and you just bolt right through that same flange. So you're not drilling additional holes. You can literally apply the sealant to everything, bolt this together, and this baby is 100% sealed up and really, really nice. The factory TJ inner fender wells were shaped really funny. You couldn't stack anything on them. You couldn't do anything with them. Quite honestly, they were junk. This now gives you a flat surface. You can mount stuff to it. Obviously, we're going to put the cage in here. This will take a regular LJ cage or our fastback LJ cage. And we do provide, for those of you that can see it, this little filler piece that goes in here to complete the top edge of the tub. So that's obviously a key part of making this whole thing work. So tomorrow we're gonna weld that in and get that all set. It'll be some minor body work right there, and then it's gonna be golden. This thing is really going together nicely. So more questions.
Our buddy Brian Maxwell wants to know if this uses the tracer suspension.
So this, the way we're looking at it right here, Alex, this is in the exact tracer location. This shock tower is set to accept the 2.5 inch coilover shock or the 2 inch, either one. If you've already got 2 inch, you can run them in there too. But this is the tracer location. So it's the tracer wheelbase, tracer location. And by the way, this is left bare right now because this is where the bump can goes. I think Arnold's gonna come over and show us where that goes and how it mounts. I saw on our sample down here, it's got part of that little thing constructed.
Basically like that.
Yeah.
It can be in this area. Right
Yep.
here.
So that's a great spot for the bump can and works real good. Yeah, you might as well just leave it right there. Perfect. Okay. So, Jeff's got more questions.
All right, our buddy GenRight Dave wants to know if he already has an LJ, can he convert his LJ to this floor interior?
Yeah. If you're willing to trim it out, you absolutely could and make much better use of the interior space. So we've actually got some additional surprises that will come out as upgrades for the fender wells as we go. But I'm not going to talk about those now because those are something that is really new and cool, and it will be upgradable for anybody who's bought this already. So that'll be neat. Alex, the one thing I do want to show everybody is that this, so right now, if you had a fender cut this high, you would be right at the interior sheet metal. This goes up another 2 inches higher than the factory interior did, the original inner fender well. So you've got additional height here, and that's going to be very helpful if you want to trim this more, go for a lower CG, or run bigger tires. So pretty nice.
You just covered the first part of the question, but Christopher Miles wants to know if there's lower roll cage supports.
There will be. So part of what we're going to do is include a C-pillar tie-in will be part of this kit. So on this first install that we're doing, I'm working with our engineer and we're actually going through all these steps right now to accommodate the C-pillar, the sway bar. We're just going through all these things as part of this. The part of also what we're doing right now is we're writing the instructions so that as we start to sell these, that people can install them quickly. As part of that, what we're going to do is as soon as this one's done, we're going to move it out. We're going to bring in our bow tie, TJ, and do it quickly on that one. This one, we've had a lot of test fits and stuff. That one, we're just going to rip through, follow the instructions to the T, and do it as quick as we can.
Yeah, if we don't get that right, mine's available.
Yeah, right now, by the way, what you see progress has taken about 3 days. So
pretty quick.
Not bad.
Pretty quick for a first one.
Yeah, and the first day or so was spent ripping this thing apart because you really got to tear it down. You got to get everything out and out of the way. So that's a big part of. But honestly, you know, your Jeep probably needs a good bath anyway, so tearing it down is a good idea. The dirt that fell off this one we started sawing on it was amazing.
Zach Uptill wants to know with the tracer suspension, is it possible to run Rubicon 44s out of a JK with the tracer suspension? He knows that's going to be much weaker than tons, but I don't know if there's any other issues with that step forward on ton.
No, you'd be able to do that. In fact, Arnold, our guy here, was talking about that for a while, running the JK 44s. They're not as wide as the axles that we spec, so you're going to have to run a different backspace wheel because effectively you've got to get to that 70. Otherwise, when you articulate, the tire's going to get into the shock.
Would you be able to do that with the tracer suspension?
Yeah. So you just, you know, you're probably going to be maxed out at a 37. If you try and run a 40, they're going to break. So.
And Dave asked, rear seats on riv nuts question.
Yes. You can't see it right now. Maybe we can get under there, Alex. We don't have our little light. Can they see okay? There's a separate cross member that we just put in, and on top of this, there'll be welded in some aluminum extrusion, and that is where the middle cargo area body mounts go. So we're going to do that, I guess, probably in the next day here. I should also remind everybody, this Jeep came to us with a 1-inch body lift, so we've still left that in there. So if it looks like there's a lot of room, that's why. The other thing I wanted to show while we're down there is this inner structure on the rear bumper. So the rear bumper is also the rear cross member. It's all integrated into one. We did design this so that it could take a receiver hitch similar to what I have on the Aftershock JL. So there's a lot of forethought that's gone into this, and honestly, even during this first install, we're already making additional upgrades and changes, and it's actually pretty cool and exciting. So, yeah, more questions? I figured they'd be coming fast and furious. Did you get a chance to see it? Andrew just walked in and say hi, Andrew.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know if you got to see this
I
up close, so take a look around, see what you think. It's pretty neat.
What would be the approximate wheelbase for this?
A tracer is 115. So right now, this rear axle is going to be set in that location. So part of it depends on what you do with the front. Typically, we push the front end forward to get that 115. So that's where we're at.
Will factory seat mounts still work?
If you put in riv nuts, you could still run the factory rear seat mount, yes. It has nothing to do with the front. Front is completely left alone. Yep. And you can still run a flare, by the way. Those just go right on the outside of the corner guard. If you notice, our aluminum corner guard is bare. And if you want to put the tailgate back on, which this customer does, it goes over the top, and we give you another 3/16 spacer that goes between it and the gate so the hinge works properly.
Or the tailgate plate.
Or the tailgate plate, yep. Which would then tie it all in.
Nick Rapinich.
Hey, Nick.
My future co-dog would like to know what size spare tire can you fit in the rear tub?
Where's Arnold? Arnold, where's your tape measure?
Hey, Arnold.
What's our dimension here? How big of a tire could be squished in there?
Just a 36.
Donut.
36, or an aired down 37.
Probably.
Yeah.
Alan Alvarez says, take my money.
Take my money. I like it. It's actually turned out really, really nice. It'll be very, very strong and sturdy. Like I said, this floor in here is 3/16 thick. The side walls of the inner fender wells are 1/8 inch thick aluminum. And then, by the way, this is all a marine grade aluminum. So you can leave it like this and it'll last a long time. It won't get all funky and corroded. So really, really nice product. And let's move around on this side, yeah, to show everybody the front, what the front looks like. Alex, I'll let you kind of dip your head in there. So the front edge matches up really nice. You can see how this comes down. And then this gets flexed over with some riv nuts and bolted into the side panel here. But it is super clean. If you wanted to, you could mount speakers in here. There's a lot of different things that you could do yourself if you want to. But completely clear of the seats. It just turned out really nice. And again, sandwiches using all the corner guard bolts, which is super cool, so you're not in there drilling additional holes. What else we got?
People like it. Somebody said Andrew's looking for places to put lights in there. Okay.
Oh, there's Keith. Keith, say hi to
A
everybody.
lot of what's the cost?
So if you haven't already noticed, these are up on our website already. In the TJ section, there is a TJ to LJ under suspension. I don't have any pricing in there yet because part of what I wanted to ask you guys was, are you willing to get all these pieces and weld them together? Since you've got to have a welder to put it on your Jeep anyways, would you be willing to just weld all the pieces together? It does involve, you having to get it relatively flat. I don't know if you want to roll over here. So we've got this one that we've kind of tacked together. I don't want that to get in the mix and mix everybody up. But this is what the kit would look like. So it would come to you in pieces. By the way, just like our cage, it's all puzzled, so it goes together one way. Even these, all fit right into keys that are already cut in here. So including, every single little piece is all keyed. It would come with instructions that show you which parts to do first, what order to weld it in. Honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal. You would have to be kind of a welder mindset. You've got to take all these things and bevel them so that you're, able to get the proper weld in there. And, like I said, it's got to get welded to the frame up here anyways. So you can see the brackets that we have there. So not only do you weld around the frame, but you encapsulate it with this fish plate, and you fill all those holes with weld, so you get a ton of weld surface on there. And right now that's 3/16 thick. The frame is 3/16. The shock bracket is 1/4 inch, so it's beefy. Yeah.
Tom would like to know if the kit includes an extended rocker.
So it does. That's what we were showing on the other side. GenRight makes several different rockers if you're not aware of it. We make an LJ rocker, we make a stretched LJ rocker, we make a stretched tracer version of it. So mini boat side, there's a bunch of options. And again, you can go on our website and see all that stuff right now. This is an actual tracer LJ corner guard. This is not something special. This is literally made for an LJ that you can see we just bolted right on. And if you already own a TJ that has, this is the good part, that has our corner guards or rocker guards, all these bolts are the same hole position. So you literally take your TJ stuff off and this bolts right on, right where it was. So all the bolts will match, which is really cool.
If you already have a TJ roll cage, can you cut that and buy a kit to make it an LJ
Yeah,
cage?
great question. So that was another thing I wanted to ask you guys. We absolutely have designed it so you can do it that way, and we can provide a tube kit. We were all a little concerned that you guys would be able to make that look nice, because we'll sleeve it, you'll have to weld it around, but we weren't sure that you'd be able to get that ground down nicely and make it so it looked good and not kind of cheesy. So we weren't sure if you just want to sell the cage you have and put it in an LJ cage or an LJ fastback cage. So you get a couple of options there as well.
I'd really like to know if it includes the extended tub rail, including the soft top lip.
It does, yeah. Yeah, that's all included. Yep. So our guy's gonna weld this in, and we're taking a ton of pictures as we're going through this, so I'll be able to post all kinds of detailed shots on this on the product page on our website that I was just talking about.
And one off-topic question.
Sure.
Jody. I have a 2006 LJ. I saw that your TJ rear triangulated Ford wing does not fit in Atlas 4-speed. Is that just for the TJ and LJ, or is that just the case for the TJ?
So what it has to do with the fact that the transfer case is longer. So could somebody do something super creative? They could, but we're not prepared to provide instructions. We're not going to tech it. Like, guys, when we sell a product, we're here to support that. If you want to Frankenstein something else together, you're 100% on your own. Don't call here and bend my guy's ears for 2 hours at a time trying to figure out what to do. You got to figure that out. Okay, that's part of the fun with building a Jeep, and you just got to do it. So,
with the wheel well tubs raised, does that change how the cage mounts in the rear?
Only in the rear. It's 2 inches shorter. So you just hack 2 inches off and weld the plate on in the same spot.
Yep.
So, good questions though.
All right, people are loving the aluminum.
Well, it's nice.
And the wheel well opening is cut for a 40-inch tire.
This is cut for 40, yeah.
There's a couple of questions on YouTube.
Sure, what do you got?
How far can the front end be stretched on a TJ or LJ without having to run full hydro?
You can go safely if you're really careful, you can go 5 inches forward with our twisted pitman arm. So, and if you need more information on that, call in and talk to one of our customer satisfaction advisors. All right. So, yeah. Otherwise known as University of GenRight around here.
Hey, Uno
Yeah.
Mas. Have you ever considered anchor points within the bed?
We have, but I noticed that most of either us or my friends have all gone to those universal tie-down strips that you can move the quick pieces. I don't know what they call them, those little clips. The E-track stuff, yeah. It's similar to that, but it's aluminum. So they're cheap. You can buy a set of them for like 99 bucks on Amazon or whatever.
Jamie's got it in the ground.
Oh, Jamie says 60 bucks. Yeah. So he said Summit Racing is even cheaper. So that's I think the best way to go. Yeah.
Labor comparison to just doing a normal tracer to an LJ, how much extra teardown do you have to do a kit like this, non-welding wise, just cutting out the tub?
Honestly, the cutting of the tub, what we're gonna do is provide you guys measurements on where to cut. And I took a bunch of detailed pictures where we just took a Sharpie and lined it all around. We just took the Sawzall and zipped it right out. You don't have to be, like Alex, if you can look back up in here, you don't have to be super crazy careful about what it looks like. Because what I'm figuring you're gonna do is once you get this all installed, you're just gonna go through here and spray that with a little undercoat or something, but you will never see the cuts you make. So it's really not a big deal and it can go very fast. You can spend a bunch of time, making it all straight and looking great, but you don't necessarily have to. And I think everybody here that's been involved with this install has been impressed with how clean and how smooth and how quick it's gone. Internally, we started calling it the one-day TJ to LJ kit because it's fast. So, yeah. Now, obviously, it's not totally done in one day, but we had the whole frame done in one day.
24 hours.
Yeah, maybe 24 hours, yeah.
That's a day.
We called it that, the 10 years to you leading to this too.
Yeah.
All right. Just joined. When will the new LJ frame be available?
So that's in the works, guys. We've got 75 new products in the pipeline, and they don't all just come to fruition magically. So we're working on one thing at a time. I am prepared tonight to show you the next thing we're working on that we've talked about in the past too, but I figured we would get through all the questions on this first. So, yep.
Mr. Brian Maxwell.
He's back.
He's back. He's all over this.
Yeah.
If you do this to a Jeep like mine or Jeff's, do the rear link mounts stay the same location and buy longer links or question mark?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do on this gentleman is his axle mounts are all going to stay the same. We're just making longer links, and he'll be good to go. He just had steel links in here anyway, so we're just going to put some longer tubing on there and call it good.
So the frame side link mounts
stays,
are staying the same.
and the axle side stays.
Cool.
Yep. And that applies whether you have, in this case, he's got our standard style link mounts on the frame, but it would also apply if you had the double triangulated. You would just make longer links. Yep. And we have not put the accommodations in for the sway bar yet. And actually, Alex, this is a good shot right here. When we cut the floor of the cargo area, you can see there was an extra reinforcement in the factory floor, and we kept part of that to keep this a little bit more rigid. So, because that's spot welded all the way along. So our plan is to put a few bolts in that and then a few bolts along the front edge, and that'll clean up that whole area really, really nice. So, what else you got?
Are there any welds on it that are difficult welds that require a very good welder versus just a good welder?
Well, you are welding to the frame, but I'll be honest, I've seen some pretty nasty booger welds on frames that held up on some hoopties out there. So I think, you can stick two pieces of metal together just as good as the next guy. And honestly, this stuff is so thick that I don't think you could go wrong. So, and we really didn't have any trouble keeping it all square or doing anything. We just checked it a few times and made it so.
VB Tom wants to know if we have top fan discounts. If he calls me, I'll throw him a couple extra stickers for sure. Okay.
Yeah. I know if you're watching, quite often you can catch the sales guys in a good mood, and they might throw you a bone every once in a while. So. Oh, we got a few more people standing by watching.
Yeah, your CFO.
Yep, we got Mr. Shane.
That would be the CFO.
And Jordan. Say hi, Jordan. Say hi, Jordan.
Hey guys.
All right. So now that we moved the time to 5 o'clock, everybody can come over and say hi.
It's after hours.
We have beer in the fridge. Yeah.
Jordan? All right. Do you have to cut off the rear body mount to weld the frame together just because I just welded on a set, keep moving, a set of your heavy duty 1-inch TJ
great
mounts?
question. No. So the body mounts, this one actually already had our heavy duty body mounts, and this one is our 1-inch lifted so we can take the pucks out. So no, you don't have to remove the body mounts. It's designed to work around them. We did have to, you can see this one down here, we had to trim this one a little bit to clear around our elevated body mount, but that was the extent of it. We just trimmed it right here. So not a big deal. Fit right on there. We were able to weld it just fine. There's a good almost 4 inches of overlap in both directions. So not only is the frame welded around, but you're overlapping everything and you're getting a lot of inches of welding on here. So I wouldn't worry about this. This section's going nowhere. In fact, I would say you could completely roll this Jeep down a cliff and this part's gonna be just fine. I don't know about the rest, but that part's gonna be fine.
Still not recommended.
When you make the two frames together, of the new frame and the old frame, do you weld that first and then
Yes,
make
you gotta grind it flat. So like this one's been beveled, right? So you can get a good bead down in there, and then you grind it flat, and then put on both sections. Put the plate on.
So you weld
Yeah.
that first, then put your fish plates on.
Yep.
Our man Bob Preston says this is a way better on the wall width than the LJ to LJ route.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So that was one of the points I wanted to make. You can pick up a TJ dirt cheap. Well, and especially if you're going to do a V8, I mean, you could find one with a blown motor, and I've seen them for $5 to $8 grand, you know. So compared to what you're paying for an LJ, like holy smokes,
30.
Plus, you know, you're going to do a lot of this stuff anyways, so you might as well just go with the TJ and get it done. So.
Does Jeff plan to bump his to an LJ? I don't know yet, Dave.
Yeah, Jeff's in that stage where he is finally done working on his, so he's not looking to get back underneath it anytime soon.
Nope.
Not as long as it's working or not broken. Yeah. Now, if it's broken, then he may have an excuse to put it back under the knife.
Would allow me to get a steering box back on.
It would, yes. Yeah.
We have a lot of people saying they love this time.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. I was hoping that the later time worked for more people, so I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Are those people East Coast or West Coast, or do we know? If you guys could tell us, yeah, that would be great. And I'm also looking for feedback. Are you guys willing to take the kit like this, or do you need it?
We've had a little feedback on that, and everybody is leaning towards welded already.
Okay, that increases the cost a lot. Okay, but it makes the install super fast.
That's the day install.
Yeah, that's like a, yeah. I mean, you can do it really fast if you do that.
Would it be crazy to do it as like a tack together piece?
You can't. So that's because there's so many things that have to be welded first. Yes.
There's an order.
So, yeah.
And
honestly, you know, if somebody tried to weld this now, there'd be a bunch of stuff underneath that would be void, and it wouldn't hold up.
Makes sense. Those either fully welded or pieces. There is no in between.
No in between.
We have a few people, a couple from Washington, but everybody else is saying they're on the East Coast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, the East Coast people.
They're not stuck in traffic trying to watch.
They're
home.
liking this, and maybe they're done with their dinner by now. And yeah, okay. Cool. I do want to show Alex that we left this whole rear body mount intact. A lot of people, you know, over the years have like beat the daylights out of that, and or damaged it, or are worried about keeping that, and I did want to show that that is 100% intact. Yep, Jeff's got more.
Viewer Jeff Perkins would like to know if this is a specific rear bumper.
That is.
TJ to LJ.
So Arnold, in all his genius, designed this so that it kind of matched our front bumper. And again, it looks like it's got a big gap here because of the 1-inch body lift. The one thing that we did talk about since we've done this kit is that regardless if there's a body mount in the rest of the vehicle, we've talked about rekeying this so that the rear, you could get rid of this 1-inch puck and have everything tucked up tighter. So I think that'll be a production change that we make. And if you guys are watching and that sounds good to you, please let us know you like that idea, and we'll definitely make that happen. So I know it's lots of aluminum, but you know, here's the extended rocker on here, and this isn't the production version. We just put this one on here to kind of show everybody that it really makes it look more normal. And by the time you get 40-inch tires on this thing, you know, that 115-inch wheelbase is 1 inch shorter than a 4-door JK. So a lot of people are regarding that to be the ideal wheelbase with great approach and departure. So I know Jeff would love a 115-inch wheelbase. He'd be over at back door, like right when we got to Johnson
Yeah,
Valley.
I already go straight there and evaluate it. Hey, I've been up it once. Eric Van Horn, are you running a brace between the frame pieces forward of the rear shock hoops?
A brace between. Is he talking about here? There's two gussets inside here. And that's the cross member.
Yeah, I think he's talking about cross member.
Okay, yeah. So we replaced it with a tube instead of that fabricated looking thing that was all rusty on the other Jeep, the frame section we took out of here. And then all of this is 3/16 thick, so it's beef. You keep in mind your factory frame's only 1/8 inch, So this is much thicker. And again, you can see we left all the suspension mounts are left in place. We did cut the exhaust to get it out of the way to make sure we had plenty of room to work back here. So pretty nice. What else you got?
We're getting a few questions about the timeline of the JL cage.
Let's walk over and talk about that. So I wanted to show everybody it does exist. This is all of the tubes to build a cage. We've got all the brackets right there in that box, and you can see the aftershock JL is right over there. This is what I was talking about by we've got a bunch of new products in the pipeline, but we're working on one thing at a time. So we're trying to finish the TJ to LJ, and then we're going to get into this. So I don't know how well they can see it on the camera, but these tubes have a lot of bends in them. This is really specialized. This maxed out the bending machine's capability to make all this happen. And this kit is also designed if you wanted to put the factory plastic back inside. So that is very unique to what we'll be offering for the JL.
We're using a 2-inch DOM, right?
This is 2-inch, and it's all 120 wall DOM. So yeah, we're close. We just got to finish one project at a time and move on to the next thing. So
I mean, Aftershock's just sitting over there waiting for it.
Sitting waiting, so. Yeah. So, all right. What other questions we got?
Alfie says, finally, a JL cage time.
Yeah. And remember, we talked about this on one of our roll cage specials. You want the 2-inch for the bigger vehicle. It's 50% stronger than the 1.75 inch. So it's a big difference. You do not, in that vehicle, in a TJ, YJ, 1.75 inch, no problem. But in the bigger 4-doors, you want 2-inch tubing.
We're getting a few comments that...
And by the way, let me interrupt you for a second. If you don't believe in the 2-inch tubing, talk to our product tester over here, Mr. Shane Wolford, who recently tested it.
Somebody did just comment on YouTube and said, how's Shane recovering from his roll-up?
Yeah, look at him.
2 minutes.
Doesn't even have a sore neck. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
We're getting comments that they're saying the TJ to LJ kit looks a lot more simple than they thought it would be. Really not much to it.
Even when Arnold and I did it, we're like, wow, like what are we missing, Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What else we got? We can go back and look around the TJ to LJ. Again, this is the stuff, if you tuned in late, this is the rear cargo area section. We cut out like this much. In fact, here you can see where we marked it. Somebody was asking about that. And we just marked it with a Sharpie. And look, this isn't the most straight cut, but who cares? You can't even see this. Just get over it and keep moving. So we did, when it came to this area here, we did radius this as we cut it to make sure we didn't have any stress risers in there for the sheet metal that was left. And then this customer also had our fuel pump access panel, so that's why you see that big section missing there. So, and then again, this was the rear frame section. This is that section, guys, that I was just talking about was replaced with a tube. So it's got these little mounts built into it, but a tube is all you need because the factory had the shock mounts in here. It's where the gas tank attached to. We don't use any of that anymore. Jeff's got more questions.
Your favorite questions. What are the plans for an elite suspension system for the JT?
Oh, I mean, it's on the agenda. But again, we're just working on one project at a time. So, yep. What else you got, Jeff?
What paint do you use on the frames?
So it depends. On the aftershock, we used the Steel It in black. I typically prefer to use like a Rust-Oleum semi-flat or semi-gloss. I don't know what they call it anymore, but That's what I like, that look better. I don't know if that's, is that what we used on this one? Do you remember what we used on this?
I think it was semi-gloss. Yeah.
Semi-gloss, yeah. This has a nice look, you know, gives it a little bit of a sheen. It'll dull up after you're out there beating on it, but for now it's a pretty nice look.
We have people asking if the bottom of the armor and the wheel art, is there a plate to fill the bolt holes and tie the rock rail into this?
There is. Are those still out here? Right here. So we provide these little tabs that you can bolt up and then weld on from the inside, and you can weld around, you know, however it fits. But you get multiple of them, and you can tie all this together so that it's all beefy. And again, the rockers are 3/16, the corner guards are 3/16, so the nice little laser cut tabs. We're getting lots of good questions.
How far off topic are you wanting to go?
We could, sure.
Nick Rapinich would says, I don't see an engine in the race car. Would love a quick update.
We're waiting on pistons. We order a special forged piston from CP Pistons, and they're machining them for us, so we're just waiting on that.
Besides, Nick, the race car you're riding in is running great.
Yes. Good stuff. We do have a really nice JK Elite. This, by the way, was supposed to be for the next JK that I wanted to build, and one of the sales guys already sold it, so it's finding a new home here next week. Almost done. But it just shows you a good example of all the cool stuff we have going on over here all the time.
This may be a stupid question. I've never done work like this. What do you do with the takeoffs on a conversion like this? Would a scrapyard take that stuff? Yeah,
they would. In fact, obviously this is an industrial area. We literally set this on the curb, and the scrapper guys come by, and, they practically pay us for this stuff. They're love
here
this
like
stuff.
3 times a week.
Yeah, they love it. So, yeah. I mean, if you found the right guy that got rear-ended in his TJ, he may want to buy that section of frame. Or if his is rusted out, somebody could put that right on.
Rear clip, people would buy that.
Heck yeah.
Does the ESX frame support factory-compatible rear bumpers, or does it require a GenRight's specific bumper?
So the EXS is a completely different animal. We may make a JL frame that takes all the factory stuff, but right now the EXS is unique, and part of its uniqueness is that it comes with a special rear bumper and a special front bumper. So, yeah.
It doesn't get better than that bumper.
I know, it is like
so high and tight.
The high clearance with a receiver hitch in it. I mean, it's like unbelievable.
And the receiver hitch is actually out of the way.
The amount of development that went in that rear bumper probably literally cost us 40 grand. So I'm going to say, nobody else is going to spend that kind of money to get it any better.
Update on JLU corners.
JLU corners. Arnold, you could pull one out of the box over there and just flash it.
Oh.
From a distance?
From a distance. Again, they exist. We just don't have time to get to it. I'm not kidding. Like, there's so much stuff in here that you could probably step out over this way.
Yeah, it's not Where's Waldo.
There you go.
Ah.
So you could see that it's formed and it's nice. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And we'll be test fitting those relatively soon. So, yep.
4.0 Tracer versus the LS Tracer. Is any major differences on the suspension side? I don't know. I know engine mounts and stuff is different, but any issues in doing the Tracer 4.0 and going to LS years down the line?
Nope. No, not at all.
It's actually a good plan.
It is a good plan. The transmission mount is different. Obviously, it's got a different transmission. But when you go to the LS, you just change that cross member, and you're good to go.
And when you're going to the LS anyway, all that stuff's out of the way.
It's
super easy.
So, and then when you do the LS, you'll get our LS engine mount package, because on the standard one, you leave the engine mounts that it has. But when you do the LS, you'll change the engine mounts, because we move the motor a little bit over and that it's arched on the one motor mount to clear the upper control arm.
Can you put a JKU on the ESX rolling chassis? Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, it is very close, I can tell you that. We are working on that for the JK. So I can tell you the first one's gonna go in the Terremoto because that's what I want. So we're getting there. Again, it's on the list, but it's not that high of a priority.
Why do you need that? You've been pretty easy on that frame.
Yeah. By the way, all of you that are asking these questions, if you call in and give Jeff your credit card number, that moves our priority list around, by the way. If money talks,
Yep.
I'm being totally honest on this.
Nick wants to know if you could do this TJ to LJ conversion on a stock suspension Jeep.
On a stock suspension Jeep,
I mean, shock towers.
yeah, we've just incorporated in these shock towers, but I guess you could omit those and.
Sure you can figure it out, Nick.
Yeah.
Let's see. When does Aftershock get its new fenders?
So that's all part of the evolution. And after the corner guards, that's all I can say.
Zach Uptill, if order PR Pete's through y'all, is it
Nice.
still the same 6-week seat time as ordering through PRP? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless we had them in stock. So there are a lot of the companies we work with that we have a tremendous amount of inventory on their products. I just posted a video to our ambassadors to show them that, but I did not show our third-party products.
Yeah.
But if we have the third party in stock, then it's immediately available. But
Yeah, but
seats is not something we stock.
So, wanting to do a belly up system on a TJ, is a body lift required for the engine lift?
Yes. Yeah, body lift, engine lift. Yep, you need it all. The frame's not very thick, so everything's got to go someplace.
What's the plan for fuel lines and electrical for the TJ to LJ stretch? Make them longer.
Make them longer. Yeah, yeah. You can do that with EFI rated hose. You could do stainless, or zinc coated.
Do you need to run a body lift for the tracer center section for a TJ?
No, the Tracer was 100% designed around a non-body lift, and it also lowers the drivetrain. That's a completely different animal. If you're not familiar, the story with that is that it was reverse engineered from Jordan's 4500 race car that had a very low center of gravity, and when you drove that thing, it was like it was on rails. So we're in the I think tomorrow we're gonna post a video of all of our Jeeps out at Trail Hero over on YouTube, and we'll put some links over on social media. But when you watch each of our Jeeps go through the obstacles and how planted they are and how that energy is transmitted into going forward and not doing all kinds of weird stuff, if you're anything short of impressed, please call me.
Why LS over Mopar?
100, at least 150 pounds lighter, and Mopar casts in all of the accessories. So I'll give you an example. It's either the alternator or something is right on the steering box. Okay, on an LS, everybody makes kits that you can move that stuff, including us, all over the place and get it up out of the way. That's enough.
Unless you've seen them both side by side, you really don't understand how important that is.
Yeah, it's super important. Unless you just like giving yourself brain damage.
Didn't see that coming. Does the Tracer gas tank come with a compatible fuel pump?
Okay, so that's a good question. All of our gas tanks allow you to reuse the factory fuel pump module. His tank's a little far away, or I would go over there and show you guys. But you can reuse the cap and everything to put the fuel pump right back in. The factory fuel pumps have a sump and it's spring loaded. They fit right inside. Sometimes if you buy one of our deeper tanks, one of our bigger tanks, we have a little fuel pump extension kit that you can put on there. But the factory pump module works fine. If you're one of those people that just wants to do something way tricker, you can get the Aeromotive Phantom or Aeromotive Dual Phantom fuel pumps that drop in as well. That's what I run. And I have my second pump pre-wired and pre-plumbed into the system. So if my first one dies, I can activate the second and never have to stop and deal with a bad fuel pump. So, good question though. Yeah, in fact, that's the way it is on every single tank. So if you buy one for a CJ, a YJ, a TJ, we make sure that you can always run a factory Jeep fuel pump in there. You can choose to run whatever you want, but I'm telling you the in-tank pump is the best. For even if you're running a V8, like that's what you want. So.
What are recommendations for wheel width on a 17-inch diameter wheel? Tires will be 35, 1250 by 17.
Okay, and what was the question?
Recommendations for wheel width on a 17.
Oh,
so either 8.5 or 9.
8.5, yeah. But I'm always about the 8.5. You got to get as close to that as you can. Yeah.
You sell the JK Extreme coilover suspension package without control arms. I just bought the Hepta Manufacturing long arm kit, and I have a 2-door 09 JK.
Yeah, so the kit is broken down so that you don't have to buy the control arms.
I think it has a drop down, no control arms, steel control arms, or aluminum.
Yeah, so if you're trying to buy it on the website, you can do that, or you can just call in and talk to one of the guys. So, yeah, it's basically the exact same thing we were looking at just a second ago right behind us.
Can you buy just parts of the frame conversion, the frame couplings?
Okay, so let's go back over here. So this kit will be sold in sections, right? So you'll be able to buy the 2 frame sections and the rear cross member. That will be one kit. The interior will be a second kit. The corner guards, the gas tank, the rockers will be a third kit. So based on how modified your Jeep is, you may or may not need that. And then of course we talked about the cage, either doing a tube option or just doing a whole new cage is also an option. So this section right here will come with this. Okay, and like I said before, the bump can is not installed on here yet because we want to check the axle position.
We are caught up in question unless Jamie has any on YouTube.
Not really. Nothing on topic.
Okay, we do have one more.
Okay.
Where's the fuel filler routed to?
So that's up to the customer. Some people like to put it back up here. Some people run it down inside. We make a cool little billet one that they can put down inside. But we do have a lot of customers that put it back in up here too. So this particular customer, we haven't talked to him about that yet. Part of the reason is that we also make that one like I've got on Terramoto, which is that quick fill one, so that you can come in and put in 22 gallons in 30 seconds. So just depends on what you're trying to do.
Can you show how the mini boat sides fit? I know when I talked to Jeff Railway this summer, he mentioned the tub has to be bent in a little.
It does, yeah. Let's go on the other side. You want to show them that section?
Yeah. All right, Zach, so just this little lip right here, what is that, about an inch, inch and a half?
Yeah. You put your hand straight so you can see it. Like, no, this way.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's how big the lip is. It's about 1 inch.
All the way down. You just hit the end with a hammer.
Just set it there.
And it's actually pretty simple.
Yeah, so this customer, we're gonna be doing that like in the next day or two, but there's a mini boat side right there. Mm-hmm. So basically what you gotta do is you gotta bend that lip back to clear this angle right here.
Yeah.
So,
all the way through, and then you do, well, he's got our old fenders.
So he'll have to trim
cut
that,
those, but our
yeah.
new fenders actually come ready for that, and if you don't run that, there's just a little plate that bolts there.
Yeah. So yeah, we've actually, a lot of people don't even know that we've updated the front fender to now have that in there. So, but yeah, it's this lip, it's where the side and the floor meet, and you're just gonna bend this back. It just rolls back. So not a big deal. You do not wanna cut it. This is a major pinch seam that's holding a bunch of layers together.
If you cut it, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
You're
so you
re-welding.
just wanna bend that back. I get that question all the time, can't I just cut it? I'm like, no. Like that thing will peel open like a banana.
Thomas Erkey saying he's loving it.
Yeah, I'm sure. This is Thomas's Jeep.
He said no racing for him.
So he doesn't need the quick fill gas cap.
Somebody wants to know, in your experience, how do the aluminum rockers hold up versus steel? Currently, I have all your aluminum fenders, corners, but I'm hesitant to go with the aluminum rock sliders.
Yeah, if you're using them to drag along rocks, pivot on rocks, you know, you might be a better candidate for steel. You certainly, at a bare minimum, need our rash guards.
Yeah.
So
And,
that's what I've run forever.
And it's unclear if he's talking about TJ, JK.
Yeah.
If you run a TJ or LJ, we always recommend the steel.
Yeah. And we have them, like if you've seen them on our Jeeps and you go, wow, those look like aluminum, it's because we have the right color down with our powder coater to make them look like aluminum. So.
Going to a 24-gallon GenRight tank for my 5.3, do you recommend you reusing that 2005 fuel pump or upgrading to Aeromotive?
No, the factory one will be fine. Now, it might be tired, okay? But so here's a tip. Every fuel pump is made by Bosch or Walbro, okay? Those are the only two companies that make them. I don't care what brand you buy. That little pump that's inside is all you need to replace. You can get them at any O'Reilly's, Napa.
But we also sell that Aeromotive, like what I did.
Yeah, if you want, oh yeah, the little
one. So you
pump.
can modify your stock sending unit with the
Yes.
Aeromotive Stealth 340, which we sell on our site.
Yep.
So you take it apart, you take this factory one out, and you replace it with that, and that'll keep up perfect with your 5.3.
Yeah, so that's a nicer version of what you'd get at the auto parts store or currently what's in your tank.
Yep, and that's exactly what I did on my 5.3.
And it runs
my
like a
2005 TJ. So.
Yeah, perfect. More
Weight difference between this kit on a TJ versus a real LJ.
We were talking about that earlier. I haven't had a chance to put this on the scale, but I'm going to guess it's 100 pounds heavier than the. What's that? This kit?
No.
No, not this kit.
Yeah, they're asking about this kit, I think. So yeah, the between the side rails and the rear bumper cross member, you know, the sheet metal on the inside, it weighs almost nothing. So if that's 5 pounds heavier, I'd be surprised. So it's really the main members. What else?
Cool to see this has come together. Less physical question, more developmental side. What does an estimated design time? How long does it take a system to design in the engineering world?
You know, this is again, this is an extension, kind of a blend between what we have for the tracer. So we built CAD models for that, and then taken a TJ and blended this together to come up with this kit. So that requires that you know, in this case, we talked to a bunch of our vendors to find out, you know, what size tubing was available, what they can do as far as laser marking. You know, when you say you want to put these keys and stuff on there and cut all these angles. So a lot of that is a little bit more technical, and you can see this angle on this side is different than this one. The laser cutting is incredibly smooth. You don't have to do any prep. You know, you can really work with it nice compared to like plasma cutting or flame cutting. So really it's just a matter of applying what we know works, you know, by doing the double gussets, by doing the shock tower that way, and then incorporating in a super cool cross member rear bumper, you know, that's all built in like that to have the body mounts in the right position and everything. So you know, from a CAD perspective, this is probably 3 weeks worth of time and, you know, to produce all the drawings and everything and get them to where we can laser cut parts. Yeah. But our guys are good, so.
Does the frame kit fit a factory LJ tub?
This would fit a factory LJ tub, yes. Yeah, considering the factory LJ corner guard, fit right on.
We're all caught up in questions, and we're pretty much at the hour mark.
So let's expand on that question for just a second. The old way to do this would have been to find a rear half of an LJ, so when you cut this, you could just morph these two together. However, the LJs are so expensive now that nobody in their right mind would cut a tub up. Or if they have a smash front tub, they're gonna ask all the money for that rear section. So you're way better off to do this.
I've looked into it.
Yeah, it's like crazy money. Yeah. So did you get a price on how much it was?
I haven't done it in like a year or so.
A long time, yeah. So
you couldn't hardly find them though.
Yeah, that's the problem. And if you find them, they're all crappy and
they're not in good shape.
Yeah, not in good shape. So this really gives you a chance to bring your TJ back to life inexpensively. Let me make sure I covered all the rest of my points, right? So we talked about the fact that it takes factory hardened soft top. TJs are inexpensive and readily available. It does fit our 26-gallon gas tank, our stretch tank. The 3/16 floor, 1/8-inch inner fender wells, true LJ corner guards, Tracer mini both side rockers, and the rear cross member with the toe points and everything all built in there. So pretty nice. I think we talked about this a minute ago. These are our corner guard backing plates. This is something we already sell. We're gonna make a longer version of this for the inside of this, but these will be part of the kit as well. So, all right, if we're all out of questions, we're gonna sign off. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed getting to see this in progress. We've been working on it for a while, and we're very happy to bring it to you. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday.